Hello, everyone. Welcome, Capo families. I'm going to let you all load in very slowly and quickly. We're hoping that we can get all of you in very quickly. We are going to start this presentation ASAP. Welcome to the Capistrano Unified Virtual College Fair. This is our final showcase and presentation of day 2. Our UC and CSU showcase, which is highlighting so many of our wonderful public colleges and universities. We are so lucky to have reps from all over the state join us. I'm going to go through some quick housekeeping things as we get started, but I want to make sure that everyone is able to load in and know what we are talking about and have what they need today. This presentation is a webinar format. So what that means is that it is currently being recorded. It will be available on our website at the end of the week or the end of next week when the fair concludes. It will be on our YouTube channel and also on our College Fair tab. All of attendees are muted and your video has been disabled, so we cannot see or hear you. The chat is also disabled, so the only way to ask questions is to use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. We will ask or try and answer your questions, aloud, verbally as a part of the presentation, or we'll answer in the Q&A window for all of the representatives that we have here. We also have a post survey that's included in your Calendly registration. If you really enjoyed any session that we're hosting as a part of the fair, or you'd like to learn more about a particular topic, please feel free to fill out that survey that will be sent at the conclusion of this presentation this evening. This is a showcase structure, which means that this is a rapid fire highlight presentation. Each school will present for approximately 6 minutes. You can take notes of schools that are interesting to you. You can collect contact information for representatives that are here. For all of our questions, please specify who you would like to respond, or if it's a question for the group, you're more than welcome to say that as well. This will make our panel have an easier time finding and answering your questions in the Q&A and make sure that you get the information that you need. My name is Kristen Jones-Manning. I'm a part of our Futureology team who is putting these showcases together. So if you have any questions for Futureology, you're more than welcome to put those in the Q&A as well. We are going to get started with our first school this evening, and that is Cal Poly Pomona.
All right, so thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this particular showcase. I'm really happy to be here today. My name is Dulce Guerrero. I'm one of the outreach representatives from Cal Poly Pomona. So I will be discussing about Cal Poly Pomona, which is one of the 23 options that you have within the Cal States. Can I have the first slide? Okay, so just quickly, this is our new student services building. So if you're ever on campus for any matters, whether you want a campus tour, you want to talk to the Office of Admissions, you want to connect with the Office of Financial Aid, this is the one-stop shop, and it's right in the hub in the center of Cal Poly Pomona. Next slide, please. So just know that quickly, Cal Poly Pomona at a glance, we are in a semester calendar system. When you're looking at our institution, we are considered to be a mid-sized campus in student population and in acres. We have over close to 28,000 students on our campus, and that's both undergraduate students pursuing bachelor's degrees and graduate level students. And when you're looking at the campus, although we're considered to be a mid-sized campus, the field is a little bit more of a smaller setting. On the average, students that are taking classes have a ratio of 32 students per faculty member. However, when they get through their major specific courses, they tend to be even a little bit smaller, about 28 students. So our students are able to build that connection with faculty, and they get to know them by name. We do not have facilities that seats a lot of students because we're not that type of a campus that's large in size. At the undergraduate level, students will have over 54 different bachelor's degree options to choose from, and we have 8 academic colleges on the campus. The College of Agriculture that houses a lot of great majors that work directly with the animals. So part of the campus literally looks like a farm to accommodate these particular programs. We have a wonderful College of Business Administration, a great College of Education. So we also offer the 3 basic teaching credentials for the state of California, the College of Engineering, the College of Environmental Design, the College of Hospitality Management, and the College of Letters, Arts, and Social Sciences, and finally the College of Science. So there's a lot of options. Although students hear the word polytechnic, They associate our institution just with programs that are STEM-based. Yes, we have them. We are great at them, but we do also offer an array of other programs. And basically what that means is that students will have that rich hands-on exposure. They will learn the theory and apply it through an activity lab or internship opportunity. Next slide, please. So let's talk about admission requirements. If you are a parent or if you're a student and you're a senior, these requirements definitely apply to you. If you are a sophomore, a freshman, or a junior, please connect with us again. Right now, due to the pandemic, the Cal States had to revise their admissions criteria. So if you're applying for the fall semester of 2022, we are not asking for SAT nor ACT scores. If students have tested and they would like to turn them in, they can certainly do that, but they're going to be utilized for placement of English and math. They're not going to be used for the actual admissions consideration. In lieu of the examinations, the Cal States develop a model where they're now considering non-academic factors, which are experiences outside of the classroom. And with that, in the application, we'll have embedded questions. So they're not going to ask students to write an essay or write personal insight questions. The Cal State Apply will have questions that are particular to students that they need to address to their best of their ability. So they're going to ask them if they're part of educational programs at school, if they are working, if they're doing any volunteering hours. So again, make sure that if you're a senior, you address the questions to the best of your ability. We are also looking for academic factors. So we're still asking for the 15 subject matter A through G requirements where students need to earn a C- or better. However, if the student did opt to get a pass or credit during the year 2020 or the winter, spring, and summer of 2021, they can go ahead and submit those particular grades of pass or credit, and the Cal States will definitely accept that. In order for a student to be eligible for any of the Cal States, they need to have a minimum GPA of a 2.5. If they're non-California residents, the GPA has to be slightly higher at a 3.0, but do know that it's a combination of non-academic factors and academic factors that we're looking at. If a student does take honors courses, AP courses, IB courses in the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, they can get up to 8 additional points added towards their GPA. And another thing too, we have majors that are highly competitive and impacted, and just be mindful, those particular majors will require higher expectations. A lot of students apply, not everyone is admissible. So the university will be looking at other factors such as the number of years of mathematics or science that they've taken and so forth. Next slide, please. So just to quickly highlight the impacted majors that we offer. So again, if a student is interested from any of these programs from aerospace, engineering, all the way to psychology, these are identified as highly competitive programs. So again, they're looking for increased selectivity, and the standards are a little bit more competitive in nature. So just be mindful if students are applying. Definitely encourage your student to have that competitive GPA to better their chances. And again, address the questions that are incorporated on Cal State Apply so that the institution can assign additional consideration based on the responses that they're providing on the application. Next slide, please. So a couple of application deadlines to be mindful of. If students are interested in the fall of 2022, we are currently open and accepting applications. They have all the month of October and all the month of November to apply. Students can create their account. Email is the form of communication. So that email that they put down on the application is very important because they are going to be receiving follow-up communication from the institution. They're going to have directions and instructions on claiming a student portal that once they claim, they're going to be able to check the progress of their application and see their to-do list. If any item is required from students, it will be noted on that to-do list with a description and a deadline. These are very hard deadlines, so definitely encourage your students to look at the portal and abide by any deadline that they need to. They're going to be completing one application, so it's important that they have copies of their transcripts so that they can do the proper entries. They can always save it and resume it at a later time. So students don't need to have that pressure of completing the application all in one sitting. There's going to be questions that will ask about household income and family size. The reason why they have those questions is because students can be eligible for a fee waiver. They're typing in one application and they can actually route it to as many of the 23 Cal States as they wish. But again, each Cal State will bill them $70 unless they're eligible for the waiver. The application will let them know if they're eligible for that waiver. And if they get it, they get to submit up to or route their application to 4 different Cal states, and they're not going to be billed. So again, be mindful of that. Admissions decisions for Cal Poly Pomona will be coming out in the month of February and March. If a student is selected, it's definitely a conditional admission. So be mindful that students still need to complete their senior year successfully. And they're going to be asked for a commitment and a deposit. For Cal Poly Pomona, it's $150 and it's not refundable. So just be mindful that if a student puts down their deposit and they decide to go somewhere else, or they do not complete the requirements in their senior year and they're no longer eligible for consideration, their decision will be changed and they're unfortunately going to be denied. And if they put down a deposit, it's not going to be returned. So again, be mindful of that. If a student does decide to attend the institution, they follow through with deadlines, complete their senior year successfully, those $150 will be deducted after they register for classes and they get their bill. So just be mindful, there's a couple of deadlines here for the acceptance. It is May 1st. To submit AP scores and final transcript, the deadline will be July 15 for both. So again, encourage students to periodically look at their portal and make sure that they are checking their status and also their to-do list. Next slide, please. So financial aid, how to pay for the university or college is very important. And we highly recommend that students also apply for financial assistance. Right now, the applications are available for both FAFSA and the California DREAM Act application from October 1st to March 2nd. Do know that if your son or daughter is a US citizen, it's a legal resident with a green card holder, they will be submitting the FAFSA application, the free application for federal student aid. If the student is going to be is undocumented, that's totally okay. They can still apply for financial assistance, but they will be utilizing the California DREAM Act application. About 70% of our students receive some form of aid, and our school code is very important, 00144. It's very important because the common mistake that a lot of students do is they will put down the actual code for Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and that's definitely a sister campus, a different campus. So if they want to definitely hear from our financial aid department, they will have to put in the proper code. Can I have the next slide, please? Do know that as things are getting better, we are bringing back in-person activities. So students can actually do now an in-person campus tour. We have them Monday through Friday at 9 in the morning, and we still continue to have virtual campus tours Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. If students want to get connected with a particular outreach counselor, they can certainly do that as well by setting up an appointment. We do virtual appointments in the morning, and in the afternoon, we do in person as well. And again, if they have quick questions, we also have a virtual walk-in advising session where they can access our Zoom from our website. And here you have the number, you have our email address in our website. Definitely encourage students to get connected for additional details about our campus or other questions that you may have. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
All right, well, thank you everybody for being here. So my name is Caleb. I am an admissions counselor at Humboldt State University, and I only have 6 minutes to tell you all about how great Humboldt State University is. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet, but I am going to post my contact information in the chat room so that we can connect, and I'll go ahead and get started. So Humboldt State University, I hope that a few of you have heard about us, but sometimes it is unlikely. We're kind of like a hidden little gem up in Northern California, and we are part of the California State University system. So I'm sure you've all heard of a few CSUs that are probably around your area. Just for reference, San Diego State University is the southernmost campus, while we are the northernmost. So we are an hour and a half south of the Oregon border. A little bit more about the demographics of our school. So right now we're right at 6,000 students. Faculty to student ratio is 20:1. So what that means for you is that we have small classroom sizes with more individualized attention. Your professor is going to know you on a first name basis. So it's quite the opposite of some other institutions that might hold their classrooms in a huge hall with 300, 400 students. That's not what Humboldt State University is about, and it kind of feels like a private school. That's how small campus is, and the classrooms So if that kind of resonates with you, this would definitely be a great fit for you. If I'm hitting the next slide, but I forget I don't have access to that. So there we go. All right, so we have 3 colleges, and all 3 of those colleges house over 50 majors. So for our college and professional studies, we have majors such as business administration, kinesiology, social work. Those are just a few examples. Education, if anyone wanted to be a teacher. Normally, I would take the time to ask each of you what major you're interested in so that I could speak to that in more detail, but there's 180 people in here, so it's not going to be possible for me to do that. But like I said, I'll connect with you afterwards so that I can answer any questions that you have. If we could go on to the next slide, please. Now, the College of Natural Resources and Sciences, this might be what we're most well known for. So we have programs including biology, zoology, wildlife, oceanography, botany, forestry, and I could keep going on and on. So why are these programs so popular at Humboldt State University? Because of where we're located. So we are surrounded by 1.2 million acres of the redwood trees. We are surrounded by waterfalls, lakes, lagoons, the beach, a lot of wildlife, marine life, and that becomes your classroom essentially. So you're not stuck inside a building with 4 walls like most classes traditionally have been held for students. It's quite the opposite. So you're outside. We have a research laboratory. We have a research vessel that goes out into the Pacific Ocean. Just so many opportunities for you to get that hands-on experience that students love. Some other majors that come to mind that are very popular: environmental resource engineering, environmental science and management. Those are just a few examples. If we could go to the next college. So after the sciences, we are known for the arts. So music, art, film, theater, dance. Normally I would show you guys a lot more pictures because a picture is worth 1,000 words, but our students get to help with directing, filming, stage design. They do the makeup design, script writing, the lighting, costume design, so everything. You essentially get to do everything. A lot of people don't know that Humboldt County actually has a multi-million-dollar film industry. We have international film festivals that happen every year. Movies like Jurassic Park, or scenes from movies like Jurassic Park have been filmed up in Humboldt County, from Star Wars, A Wrinkle in Time by Disney. There's one with Sandra Bullock, Bird Box. That was filmed up in Humboldt County. Hundreds of car commercials of fast cars driving through the redwoods have been filmed up there. So those are just a few little interesting facts for you. Next slide. All right, so admissions requirements. Things have changed, right? Because of the pandemic, everything is a bit wonky. So right now we are not asking for SAT or ACT scores. We are just focusing on A through G subject requirements. So you want to make sure that you meet those. You do need at least a 2.5 GPA. And so you need a 2.5 GPA to submit an application, right? If you have below that, it is going to be, there are some exceptions that we can make, but you are required to have a 2.5 minimum GPA to submit that application. The higher, the better. On average, 3.1 is the GPA for incoming first-time freshmen. And for transfer students, it's a 3.2, so slightly higher. And do I have another slide after that? I do. So if anyone wanted to attend a community college first, we do accept transfers year-round. So for the fall semester or for the spring semester, what you want to do is you just want to meet with a transfer specialist or an academic advisor so that they can set you on the right path to transfer into Humboldt State University. But yes, we get a lot of students year-round, so that is always an option for you. And I think that is my last slide. All right, thank you guys for your time.
All right. Okay, so thank you again for inviting Cal State San Marcos. My name is Maribel Rojas, and I am representing CSUSM. Yes, we do have very limited time to share how great Cal State San Marcos is, so I will do my very best to review our few slides. So if you can, okay, very good. Thank you. For those of you with a cell phone, you can go ahead and scan our QR code that will take you directly to our recruitment and outreach homepage, in which you will find a lot of the information that I'm sharing with you here tonight. As you can see, there is an aerial view of our beautiful campus, which has grown so much since I started there about 14 years ago. Next. We are located in beautiful northern San Diego County, are in a vibrant community just 20 minutes away from the beach. Certainly you can take the train right from our campus. The name of the train is Sprinter, and it connects you to many of the San Diego North County cities. It's very convenient for our students, especially those without transportation. We do offer 43 bachelor degree programs and 39 minors, including American Indian Studies, Linguistics, Electrical and Software Engineering being our newest majors. Electrical and software engineering are our newest majors. We have 16,000 plus students enrolled currently. And I certainly want to highlight that our College of Business Administration is in the top 5% of business schools in the world with its AACSB accreditation. Also, I want to share that CSUSM is designated a Hispanic Serving Institution, or HSI, which means we have at least 25% Hispanic student population. Today's CSUSM Hispanic population is at 47%. Our class ratio is 26:1, that's student to teacher ratio. So again, you're going to get that personalized student experience, as many have mentioned. I'll repeat that our newest majors are electrical and software engineering at Cal State San Marcos. Our impacted majors include biology, business administration, and nursing, to name a few. We are also ranked 13th on the list of safest college campuses in America and first in California. I'm sure myself as a parent, that is a great information to have. Gives you peace of mind as you're thinking about sending your children to Cal State San Marcos, your young adults. We are also ranked 13th for preparing students for career success relative to the cost of attendance nationally. In fact, Cal State San Marcos is one of the more affordable universities in San Diego County. We do have 150 teaching and research labs and one of the most modern libraries in the CSU system. Next. Our freshman admission requirements, how to apply. As you are aware, you will, your student will apply through calstate.edu/apply. At Cal State San Marcos, the deadline to submit that application is December 15th. If you are considering other universities, other CSUs, you may want to double check that deadline. Okay, so at Cal State San Marcos, we have extended it to December 15th, but I would highly encourage you not to wait. As you know, everything gets bogged down at the very end. Admissions requirements, you'll see there that you're a high school graduate or completed your GED. A through G requirements with a C or C- or higher, as my colleagues have stated from other CSUs. And also, as others have stated, the SAT and ACT have been temporarily suspended, so will not be used in the admission eligibility criteria. You can see there the majors that are impacted at Cal State San Marcos, you at Capistrano district are considered local service area, so you don't have to worry about being seeing the non-local service area criteria. All right, go ahead and forward next. And I do want to highlight, I want to take this opportunity to highlight that we at Cal State San Marcos, we're going to help you in every step of the way. One way that we want to do this is by providing more information in more detail, specifically from our 4 colleges within Cal State San Marcos. And those are the 4 colleges listed on the right-hand side. We are holding some college open houses, which will begin on the 21st. You can reach this link. I think we're going to drop it in the chat for everybody to access. So please, you will have the opportunity to join us. No registration is needed, and you will hear directly from the colleges themselves as to what specific majors that they offer, how that can lead your student to, specific careers, etc. So please join us for those events. Go ahead and next. And we at Cal State San Marcos also will offer application clinics. So if you get or your student is, encounters any questions or problems within while he or she is submitting their application, you can certainly join us for these application clinics and be prepared to ask your questions, and we will be more than happy and ready to assist you with any and all application questions. Next. And also, I want to point out that we every year have what's called Cougar Blue Day, and this is an open house event specifically for admitted students. This is going to take place on April 16th, 2022. So when your student gets accepted to Cal State San Marcos, they will be certainly invited to join us for an in-person open house specifically tailored to them. Go ahead and next. And if you want to, okay, I guess that wraps up my presentation. I will go ahead and drop in our contact information. And thank you again for having Cal State San Marcos here tonight.
All right. Hi, everyone. You could go into the next slide. Welcome. My name is Miguel Rios, and I am a representative for San Francisco State University. So let's go ahead and get started since we only have a short few moments. Next slide. Yeah, thank you. So to start us off, San Francisco State University, we are located in the actual city of San Francisco. So we're not located in Daly City or any other part of the San Francisco Bay Area. We are in the city. We're towards the southwest end. So if you're familiar with San Francisco, we're toward the beach, definitely more on the suburban side of San Francisco. So definitely more drivable than the rest of the city. But some cool things to share. San Francisco State is known for having the first College of Ethnic Studies. So this College of Ethnic Studies houses departments such as Latino-Latina Studies, Asian American Studies, Native American Studies, Africana Studies, and Race and Resistance Studies. And we are so proud of the fact of this because it really developed out of our student activists. So our students advocated for this for their education. This was something that they wanted to get out of their education at SF State. They wanted more representation, more professors that looked like them, that could serve as mentors to them. And so they advocated for themselves. And so we are really proud of our students for doing that. We are no longer the only university with a College of Ethnic Studies, but we are proud to be pioneers in that. Some other additional facts to share. We are in the top 25 film schools. So if you're interested in film production, video production, editing, all of that good stuff, we do have a cinema major. And like many of my counterparts from the Cal States have been sharing, San Francisco State, since we are also part of the Cal State system, there are a lot of hands-on, or there is our teaching methodology does focus on hands-on learning. So whatever major you choose, you are going to be getting that hands-on learning. You're going to be getting that direct access to your professors, that one-on-one time with professors to really get to know you and give you more out of that, your education. Our business administration program is one of our more popular majors. About 1 in 5 students is a business administration major, and it does land us in the top 10% of business schools globally. In fact, we also do have a downtown campus focusing with our business students. So we are close to the financial district and give you access to many industries that have offices in that financial district on Market Street. Yeah, and next slide, please. So speaking of majors, we do have over 70 undergraduate majors for students to choose from. And when you apply to San Francisco State, you are allowed to choose undeclared as well. So that is another option for students. In terms of popular majors, like I mentioned, business administration is a popular major, but other majors also include communication studies, psychology, cinema, criminal justice studies, child and adolescent development. So if you choose any of those popular majors, you'll be surrounded by a large department, many professors, and a strong support of other peers in those majors. Now, over in the blue circle that you see on the screen, those are our impacted majors. Now, I do want to highlight that San Francisco State is not an impacted campus, but we do have impacted majors. So our impacted majors are accounting, kinesiology, nursing, psychology, and social work. If you are a student who's interested in applying to nursing as a first-time freshman, you will have to apply as a undeclared student with an interest in nursing. That is what we call pre-nursing. So just an FYI when it comes to that. Next slide, please. And in terms of student life, we do have over 200 student organizations. So we really do encourage students to get as involved as they can with student life. These student organizations range from academic ones, cultural ones based on your interests or hobbies. So there's really something there for everyone to get involved in. If you want to get involved with something that'll help you career-wise or just to socialize and have a good de-stressor. We also have fraternities and sororities. So if you're interested in joining a Greek organization and having a brotherhood or a sisterhood, and also just becoming more a part of that community, we have that as well. And for students who don't want to necessarily participate in NCAA athletics, we do have sport clubs as well as intramural sports that are open for most students to participate in. So if you're into sports, but you don't want to fully commit to that NCAA sport, there are other ways for you to still get involved with sports. Next slide, please. In terms of costs, this is what tuition looks like this semester. We're at about $3,700 per semester. So since we are at Cal State, we're definitely more on the affordable side. And we're also, or this screen also shows what the estimated cost looks like for students that live off campus. One thing I do want to highlight in this slide is that for transportation costs can significantly be increased or decreased depending on your personal situation. So if you bring a car to campus, you will have to consider car maintenance, parking permit, gasoline, and all of that. However, at SF State, you do get free access to the public transportation. So if you want to choose to take advantage of that, you can take the city bus for free all around San Francisco. And if you're familiar with the Bay Area, we do have a train going around the entire Bay Area called the BART, which stands for Bay Area Rapid Transit, and you do get you get a half discount using BART with your SF State student ID. So we really try to make it as accessible to all of our students to make sure that they can get to campus and off campus to whatever it is that they need. In terms of admissions, though, a lot of my other counterparts have already covered what we're going to be looking for in terms of minimum requirements. So, A through G requirements, GPA, 2.0 or 2.5 GPA, and so forth. So I'm not going to repeat all of that since I know most of you have already covered that. And I believe this was my last slide. Yeah. All right, so yeah, thank you so much, everyone. I will leave my email address in the chat. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
All right, looks like I'm up. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name is Kristen Johnson. I'm an outreach counselor for Cal State Fullerton. I'm also a proud alum of the campus. So I'm just going to be sharing a little bit of brief information about our school this evening. Oh, next slide, sorry. And next slide. Okay, so we'll give you a little bit of history. Cal State Fullerton was founded in 1957. So we're 64 years old now. And out of the 23 Cal State campuses, we were the 12th to be established within the CSU system. We started only with 452 students, so we've definitely come a long way. Cal State Fullerton actually has the largest student body out of all of the 23 Cal State campuses. We currently have over 41,000 students that are attending our school. We are D1 in sports, so we have 15 NCAA Division I sports teams. We've actually won 31 national championships, and we have won in the College World Series for baseball 4 times. You may have heard of Justin Turner, who plays for the Dodgers. He is one of our alum. Our mascot is an elephant. I do get a lot of people asking me, why is your mascot an elephant? It's actually because we held elephant races back in 1962 on our campus. Cal State Fullerton didn't win, but it was a lot of fun, and it did attract a lot of attention to our campus. And so that is how our mascot, Tuppy the Titan, came to be. And so if you're not familiar with our location, we are in the beautiful city of Fullerton. We're the only Cal State that is actually located in Orange County. And so we are 7 miles from Disneyland and 22 miles from Los Angeles. So we're in a really great central location. Next slide, please. So these are some of our recognitions or points of pride. We are number 3 in the nation awarding bachelor's degrees to underrepresented students. That's something that we are very proud of. So this does include students who are first in their family to go to college, low income students, as well as students of color. And speaking of degrees, we actually have 110 degrees offered at Cal State Fullerton, and all of our programs are currently impacted at this time. Impaction just means that it's competitive. It by no means does it mean that it's impossible to get admitted. We are number 4 on the top public schools list, and we do rank in the top 5% best colleges for your money. So our students are getting a quality education at a very affordable price. You're looking at about $6,800 for the entire academic year. That includes tuition and fees. We do have an amazing financial aid team that works with our students to make sure our students are graduating and not coming out with a huge amount of debt. So we do have lots of different options to help our students pay for their tuition. Next slide, please. Some of our campus resources, Cal State Fullerton is very big on internships. We do like our students to come out with the experience that they're gonna need as they go into the workforce. So it's very common that students will find that their major will actually require either in their junior or senior year for them to do some type of internship. For example, our human services program, our psychology program, students are required to do some type of internship or even research experience. And this is great because, again, students are graduating and they already have the skills that they need to go into the field, whatever field that they're going into. We have tons of ways for students to get involved. We have over 350 clubs and organizations. We have academic clubs, sports clubs, we have faith-based clubs. We even have fraternities and sororities, and they are heavily involved in community service and giving back to our community. So definitely lots of ways for students to really make the most of their college experience. And then lastly, we do have housing on campus. I do have students ask me if they're required to stay on campus. They are not. However, it is an option and it's on a first come, first serve. So after a student gets an offer of admission, then they can go ahead and apply to live on campus. For freshman students, they are required to live in our residence halls where they would share a room with one other student and a shared restroom, and all of their meals would be through the dining hall. And then once you're sophomore level and up, you can actually stay in our beautiful apartment housing. We do have single and double occupancy, depending on whether or not you would like a roommate or not. And again, we do have an amazing dining hall for students to set up meal plans. Next slide, please. In terms of admissions requirements for Cal State Fullerton for fall 2022, this is what you're looking at. Similar to what some of my colleagues have already said, we are not asking for the SAT or the ACT for fall 2022. So for students applying from high school, they just need to make sure that they have their high school diploma and that they go ahead and complete all of their A through G courses. We also do give extra points for students who have any of our supplemental factors. I'm going to cover those in just a second. And then we do look to see that the student is meeting the qualifying GPA. The qualifying GPA does vary from term to term because it goes off of the application pool at the time. But for students that did apply to Cal State Fullerton as freshmen for this fall 2021, if they were in our local area, 3.3 was the lowest GPA we accepted. If they were in our non-local area, 3.5 was the lowest GPA we accepted. Capistrano is definitely in our local area, so students will get an advantage in the form of the GPA that they need can be a little bit lower and they can still have a good chance of admission. So again, 3.3 was our GPA cutoff for this fall for freshman students. That can go up, it can go down, but that's just to kind of give you a ballpark of where our students are coming in currently. We do have additional requirements for our music and dance program. There is an audition process. And then for our nursing program, we do require students to provide a letter of recommendation, an essay, as well as an interview process. And then for our BS to MS, which is a bachelor's and master's program that students can complete in 4 years for computer engineering, that does require additional AP coursework. So those are our only majors that have additional requirements. All the rest, you just need to meet the requirements that I went over there. I did mention that we will give extra points to students who have any of the supplemental factors. So I'll kind of go over that really quickly. So if you're a student who has any extra years of A through G, that can definitely give you a few extra points. So let's say, for example, you took an extra year of math or an extra year of foreign language, that can give you some additional points towards your admission. If you're a part of any of our educational partnership programs at our local high schools, that can help you out. If you're a first generation student, first in your family to go to college, if you receive free or reduced lunch, if you're a foster youth or dependent of a veteran, those are all things that can give you extra points towards being admitted. So these are only things that can help you. If you don't have any of those things, it definitely will not hurt you at all. So those are what our supplemental factors are for fall of 2022. Next slide, please. So this is our office contact information. If you do have questions, feel free to get in touch with us. You can also, if you have your phone available, you can scan our interest card on the bottom left of the screen. It will ask you to put in your name and email, and this will ensure that you do get updates from our campus. And then I do want to plug that we have an open house happening this Saturday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. for junior and senior students, and they are allowed to bring along family members. We are offering a free tour. We're providing admissions information, financial aid information, and we are going to have a Cal State Apply Lab open from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. this Saturday, where students can work on their application. So I'll go ahead and drop some information in the chat. Thank you all for your time. Have a great evening.
Wonderful. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and thank you so much for inviting UCI. So my name is Carlos Navarro, and I'm the Assistant Director for Outreach and Visitor Services in the Office of Undergraduate Admissions here at UCI. And I'm excited to share a little bit of information with you all about UCI. So we'll go ahead and go right into it. At the end of the presentation, there'll be an opportunity for you all to get a little bit more information since I only get 6 minutes with you all, but we'll have plenty of time afterwards if you have any other questions and you'd like to reach out afterwards. But just to begin our presentation, just a few points of pride from UCI are a couple of our rankings that we feel as though really embody who UCI, what UCI stands for and what our students are really striving to become if they do graduate from our campus. But I'd really like to turn our attention to that last column, especially those two saying the #1 university doing the most for the American dream, and also #2 for social mobility. UCI has a couple of unique designations from the federal government that we are very proud of, and a couple of resources as well to make sure that our students are not only getting to our campus, but also succeeding while they're here. And then while they're with us, we're preparing them to go off and do all of these incredible things. And that's really highlighted by these great rankings that we have earned through hard work and commitment to our students to ensuring that they are set up for success if they choose to become anteaters. But with that, on the next slide, you'll be able to see just a little bit about some of our admission statistics. That way you can get a feel for what to expect when it comes to UCI. So you can see that we do get just about 130, a little over than that, 130,000 applications every single year. So we are definitely one of the most applied to universities in the entire country, with a lot of our students coming from inside of California, from the entire country, but as well as those students who are international. So students are able to interact with students of all different backgrounds and experiences while they are with us here. Our overall GPA, well, not the overall, the median GPA, so the 25 to 75% of students, their GPA is about that 3.96 to 4.28. That is a weighted GPA. Just like all of our other UC campuses, we are within the same application. So we have very similar guidelines for what we are looking for, but we do differ from campus to campus. But our admissions criteria are similar in the sense that students must have a minimum 3.0 GPA. They have to answer those personal insight questions, of which there are 8 options, and they select 4 to answer. In addition to that, we're also looking for involvements, community service, what were they doing outside of the classroom to go ahead and enhance everything that they're able to share. And of course, we're also looking at their academic caseload. So what classes were they taking? Were they taking advantage of the resources available at their school, in their community? So those are the types of things that we're looking for. But that common question is, what's that average GPA? For this last class, it was around that 3.96 to about that 4.28. Just to highlight again this idea of diversity and that commitment to making an impact in college access, we do have about 41% of our students identifying as first generation. And in addition to that, about 36% of them identify as being some underrepresented minority. And I'll touch upon it in just a few moments, but we'll see that in a couple of different ways. But overall, our admissions rate is just at about a 28.96. At one point in time, UCI was known as kind of like that hidden gem of the UC system, but the secret's out, and folks are definitely more attuned to all of the wonderful things about UCI. So that has made us a little bit more competitive. But once students are admitted to our university, and if they do accept their offer, we can see on the next slide that we have quite a few different options of majors for them to pick from. We have over 85 different majors, 70 different minors, and something unique at UCI is that rather than dividing ourselves into academic colleges, we chose to divide ourselves into 14 academic units. So they're a little bit more specialized, which is definitely great for our students because it can provide more access to counselors, more specialized assistance with their specific courses or academic advising, which is a great opportunity for our students to succeed when they are with us. But some of our most popular majors on our campus, and the ones that tend to be a little bit more selective, are majors such as nursing science, game design and interactive media, business administration, psychology. Those tend to be the more competitive majors, the ones that students are looking to get into. But in addition to that, biological sciences is unique. And something that UCI really emphasizes is this interdisciplinary work. So what we mean by interdisciplinary is that we want to make sure that students are getting the most out of their education by broadening their knowledge of many different subjects. So a couple of interdisciplinary majors that we have are our biology and education program, where students are able to major in biological sciences, but also get ready to potentially become a biology teacher. Environmental science and policy go hand in hand. And a very unique major that we have is criminology, law, and society. So bringing together a couple of these different subjects so that students can definitely be much more well-rounded. In addition to that, we have some unique majors to highlight. Exercise sciences, which goes by a couple of different names across a couple of other universities, but exercise science, at least for us, is a little bit more focused on combining biology, chemistry, and physics, and seeing how all of that works and impacts human health. And one other unique one that we have is psychological sciences. Psychology is another pretty common major in different universities, but at least at UCI, we have psychological sciences that focuses a little bit more on development, the clinical side of things, and personality, as opposed to sensations and perceptions and the cognitive process. It's focused a little bit more on how folks interact with each other, but we definitely have the other option for psychology as well. And then on the next slide, we're going to highlight just a few things on making sure that students feel welcomed and excited to be on campus, because we have students of all different identities and backgrounds. So as I mentioned, UCI is unique because we are a dual designated campus. So we are an ANAPISI serving institutions. That stands for Asian American and Native American Pacific Islander serving institution, as well as an HSI, Hispanic serving institution. That just means that a certain percentage of our student body identify in those two areas, and we get some support to make sure that we can provide support to our students. But in addition to that, we have our Black Thriving initiatives, our first gen forward institution. We are a gender inclusive campus, and we have a lot of initiatives to make sure that students of all these different identities do feel welcomed while they are with us. And in addition to that, there are many student-led resources, organizations, resource centers that are offered by the university for our students to have access to. Just a couple would be the Center for Black Cultures Resources and Research, our Latinx Resource Center, our Veteran Services. All of these are there to go ahead and support all of our students. And on this very last slide, I'll just share a little bit of our contact information. So I know this is just a little snippet of all the things that UCI has to offer. So please, we encourage you to reach out to us. There is a QR code on the screen there, so please feel free to scan that, and then you'll give us a little bit of your information, and then you can go ahead and contact us. If you do have any other questions, we do have virtual events, quite a few. These include personal insight question workshops. These include admissions presentations, opportunities to speak with admissions counselors, transfer and first year. And we want to make sure that students are able to access us from the comfort and safety of their home. But I am actually really excited to say that UCI has relaunched our in-person tour program. So we are booked out for the month of October. Those went very quickly, but our November dates will be posted very shortly if you just visit our admissions website. And if you scan the code, you can also ask us any inquiries or get any updates on there as well. But once again, thank you all so much. And we hope to see some future anteaters with us. Thank you, everyone.
All right, good evening, everyone. My name is Juan Carlos Lopez. I'm an admissions advisor for the University of California, Merced. I cover all of the Southern California, all the way down to the Inland Empire, all the way to Calexico. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide. For those of you who might not know, that one. For those who For those who might not know, UC Merced is the youngest campus in the UC system. We are located in Northern California, right in the Central Valley or in the heart of California. When you think about UC Merced and you think where it's located, a lot of you might think that's in the middle of nowhere just because we're not near an ocean nor we're in a big city. However, UC Merced, I could consider it to be that hole in that donut with everything around it nice and sweet. When we have Yosemite in the background, where we have Sacramento, Fresno, and then we have to the west, we have San Francisco, Santa Cruz, and Monterey Bay. And we are the only campus in the UC system that has a relationship with a national forest, being Yosemite. And this is why at Yosemite, we do have a research lab and we have a leadership program at UC Merced with Yosemite. And that's something that our students take advantage of our campus in that sense. Another thing you should know about our campus is that we're less than 10,000 students. Again, I like to think that UC Merced is kind of that private school environment with the public outcome. At the same time, when we think about UC Merced, think about the direction it's hitting. You see the arches there, right there in your screen. That is called the New Beginning. The New Beginning basically is when students do start at UC Merced, they cross the arches, beginning of their career at the university, and then when they cross they walk the opposite way. They're starting their beginning of their new career, either going to graduate school or the workforce, and for that matter. Another thing about UC Merced, you should know is that for the past 15 years, and we've been open 15 years, we made a lot of strides. We made the top 100 universities in the country, which is a great thing. We ranked number 18 as a R2 research status, which allows more research on our campus and what have you. And one of the great things that happened this past year that UC Merced is very proud of is that if any of you watched the landing of the probe in Mars with NASA, well, the good thing about that probe is that Perseverance, that's what it's called, UC Merced actually has some things to do with that, the logistics and the mechanics of that. So you see, UC Merced is heading in the right direction in making sure that we provide all the resources and support for our students in regards to that. As we expand, we want to make sure that we start now, and we may want to make sure that we start now on working on our 2030 project. I don't know what that entails because I haven't read the report. Next slide, please. Another thing too, if you think about UC Merced, this is what UC Merced looks like as of today. The newest buildings are on to your right. The white buildings there. The unique thing about those buildings is that the first floor is where you have student services or student organizations and classes, while the second floor up you have your classes and you have your dormitories. So if you have classes in these dormitories and you want to if you have classes here, if you go to class, roll out of bed, then go back to bed if you want to do that. Now, we also opened up a brand new student services building, which is that long building right in front of those white buildings. And our oldest building, believe it or not, our oldest dormitory was opened in 2008. So you see, UC Merced has made a lot of strides in regards to where we're going. And one of the things I would tell you right now is I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you, we are in the middle of agriculture country. One of the great things about the area in the city of Merced or in Merced in general, you're going to experience all four seasons. You're going to experience fall, winter, spring, and definitely summer. Those are the great things about being in around Yosemite. But at the same time, when you look to the east, the Cap Mountains of Yosemite, you're going to see the snow that's on top of those mountains. Again, having that relationship with Yosemite, we also have an adventures program, outdoors adventures program with Yosemite, so you can be allowed to go and actually go camping, go hiking, go fishing, or rock climbing, or just go for a stroll in the park at Yosemite and just kind of enjoy the great environment of such environment. Another thing too is that those soccer fields that you see out there in front of you are certified by the NCAA. Right now, we do have athletics on our campus. We're part of the North Atlantic Intercollegiate Athletics, and the four programs that we have is men's and women's basketball, cross country, volleyball, and soccer. And one of the great things about being part of the NAIA is basically allowing students to actually walk on and try out to see if they can make the team. And we do also recruit students to be part of our team. The northern part of that campus you see in front of you are all academic buildings. We do have a kind of an apartment type of style of dorming on our campus. So that's kind of a neat thing of our campus. Next slide, please. So when you think about UC Merced, think about all the experiences we offer our students. Next slide. And this is one of the things that I want to tell you is that our campus is broken down into three schools: the School of Engineering, the School of Natural Sciences, the School of Social Science and Humanities. And one thing I want you to notice in these schools, at the bottom of each school, you have undeclared engineering, undeclared natural sciences, and undeclared social science humanities. And the reason we do that is because we want to make sure that we empower our students to actually dictate as to what they want to do when they get to the university. We do have over 25 majors and 27 minors as of yet, or as of late. Our newest program is civil engineering, and we were very happy to tell you that last year we had a huge population that applied to that particular major. Our most sought out programs, are computer science, mechanical engineering, biological sciences, management and business economics, and psychology. Now, another thing that we do ask our students to think about is that we also accept students going undeclared general. And that's perfectly fine. Again, allowing the student to be more empowered to select what they want to do eventually when they get to the campus within a year and a half. We do have on our campus, as you start thinking about our range, our GPA range, we don't do average GPAs because average GPAs are not to be admitted to the campus. It's a matter of looking at the range for we give is a 3.0 to a 3.4 to a 4.0 range of the top 50% that were admitted last year. Now, one of the things that you're going to hear about, and a lot of the schools have already mentioned it. Next slide, please. Is the idea that we're no longer utilizing the SAT as part of the admissions requirements. If you do take the SAT or SAT, and if you choose to submit those scores, that's perfectly fine. But we're not going to use them as part of the admissions requirements. What we're looking for is, in general, is we're looking for the completion of the A through G, all 50 courses by the end of your senior year, have a 3.0 and above GPA. That is the requirements. And along with the requirements, you have your PIQ, so your personal insight questions. Select 4 out of the 8, 350 limit on each answer. Again, those are the requirements. When it comes to selection, the University of California, Merced, we do a 70% academic and 30% non-academic. The non-academic is basically all the extra curriculum, your service in the community, and the clubs that you belong to, or any educational programs that you belong to at school. Those are the things those are the factors that we look for. In the selection process, the higher the GPA, the more competitive you become. Did you take advantage of the honors and AP courses while in high school? Did you take that extra year of math, of science, or language other than English? That makes you more competitive for admissions to the University of California. So we utilize all those aspects for admissions to our campus. And yes, our acceptance rate, it is at 87%. But one of the things I would tell you with that is all the students who admitted, they met all the requirements and they met selection requirements. 40% of our students who attend UC Merced are from Southern California. Our population, as far as everything concerned, is that 73% of our students who attend UC Merced are first generation college students. So again, telling you that UC Merced is a university of access, but it's also a university of offering you opportunities for you to start thinking about how we as a university can provide you with those resources and graduate at the same time. UC Merced ranks #1 in sending more students to get their master's, #2 in sending more students to get their PhD out of Berkeley. So obviously we're doing something right. And we want to make sure that you think about UC Merced as possibly being a campus of choice or a selection for this fall. Next slide. We hope to see your application. Please contact us, and we're here to help you. Just like my colleague from Carlos Navarro from UCI, we do also offer tips on admissions, offer tips on workshops for the application, and workshops for advising. So take advantage of those resources. And I hope you have a great evening. Thank you very much.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Diana Rivas. I'm an admissions outreach representative with UC Santa Cruz. I am also a UCSC alum, so thank you again for joining us today. So we can go to the next slide. Okay, perfect. So where is UC Santa Cruz? One, UC Santa Cruz is a part of the UC system. So we are sister campuses with UC Merced, UC Irvine, who you just heard from. Our campus is in Northern California. So we're about an hour and a half south of San Francisco. Our campus sits right on the coast, so it overlooks the Monterey Bay, but it is separate from the city. I like to describe it kind of on a hill. It's about 2,000 acres, and then half of those are redwood trees. So when you're walking to class, going to your dorm, you kind of feel like you're in the middle of the forest. But then we're 10 minutes away from the beach. So you kind of get the best of both worlds on campus in terms of the location. Something very unique to UC Santa Cruz is that we are the closest UC to the Silicon Valley. So we're about 30 minutes away from the Silicon Valley, which means that our students have access to a variety of tech industries, offices such as like Netflix, Apple, Google. So there's a lot of opportunities for students who are interested in going into tech to do that through our campus. Next slide. So over here, you have some quick facts about our campus. So you'll see the average weighted GPA for our students that were admitted last year was a 3.9. Something to keep in mind is that that is the average, and we do admit students below the 3.9 and above the 3.9. For our campus, a competitive GPA is a 3.5 and above, because that's actually where 90% of our students that were admitted last year had. And also keep in mind that we don't just go off of GPA when determining whether students get admitted or not. Our enrollment is around 19,000 students. So we are considered a mid-sized campus. So we are right in the middle, but we are the second smallest within the UC system. Around 90% of our students are undergraduates, which means that they're either joining us either right out of high school or they go to a community college and then transfer in, which means that a lot of the opportunities that we provide in research, internships, working with faculty are geared towards undergraduate students. So in that sense, you're not competing with graduate students to work with faculty, which is really great because you get more of that hands-on experience. We like to say that we are a bold experiment. When our campus was first founded, they wanted to create a campus that was different to LA or Berkeley, so they decided to model it after Oxford and Cambridge. So creating a world-class research university with the comfort and feel of a small liberal arts college. Next slide. So in terms of academic programs, we have 5 academic divisions on our campus. We have our arts, humanities, our physical and biological sciences, social sciences, and then our Jack Baskin School of Engineering. Within these 5 divisions, we offer around 69 majors and 40 minors to choose from. All of them are pretty popular across the board. Some of our biggest and most popular majors are number 1, computer science, because of our proximity to the Silicon Valley. But then it's psychology, business management, economics, and then human biology for students that are interested in pre-med. With UC Santa Cruz, every student does come in as a proposed major, and you have until the end of your 2nd year to declare your major. So you do have a little bit of wiggle room and flexibility if you're not too sure what you want to study, because the major that you select on your application isn't set. So if you apply as a psychology major and then you arrive on campus and you decide that you want to switch to sociology, you do have the flexibility to do that. That doesn't apply to one major, which is computer science. Computer science is one of our selective majors, which means that if you are interested in majoring in computer science, you do have to select it on your application and you have to get admitted for it. But for any of our other 68 majors, you can either select it on your application or come in as undeclared, and it won't affect our admissions decision. Next slide. So something really unique about UC Santa Cruz is our residential college system. So UC Santa Cruz is a place where you can find community right where you live and learn, rather than a traditional university experience or residential spaces are separate from academic spaces. At UC Santa Cruz, these are shared spaces. So residential buildings sit next to academic classrooms, and academic advisors work within our 10 residential colleges. So you can think of your residential college as your neighborhood within UC Santa Cruz. So rather than being surrounded by 19,000 students, which is the amount of students that we have on campus, you have 1/10 of that within your residential college. Now, our residential colleges aren't major specific, which means that you're going to meet students across all 69 majors within your residential college. Again, the purpose of the residential college is to allow students to get that small college experience within the larger university. You're not limited to your college, so just because you're affiliated with one of them doesn't mean you can't go to any of the other 9. You more than likely will visit all 10 colleges by the time you graduate, but you know that you have your small community within the larger university. All of our students do have the same GEs, regardless of the college that they're affiliated with. The only difference is the writing course that you'll take that's based on the theme of your college. So for example, when I was a student, I was affiliated with Oaks College, whose theme is communicating diversity for a just society. But we also have Rachel Carson College, whose theme is environmental justice and sustainability. So it's also an opportunity for students to explore a topic that they wouldn't explore within their major. And of course, you don't select your college until after you submit your intent to register. So that is the difference with our college system in UC San Diego's. If you decide to live on campus, you do get housed at your residential college. So all of our colleges do offer a variety of housing styles. They have dorms as well as apartments. We don't require that students live on campus their first year, but we do recommend it. And I always encourage it. I lived on campus my first 3 years. It's a great opportunity to connect with other students when you're living right where you're learning. Next slide. So in terms of student life, there's a lot of ways for students to get involved on campus, and you've heard this from all of the admissions counselors. You really want to make sure that you get involved, because that's really what makes a university your home. At Santa Cruz, we have over 200 student organizations that range from academic, ethnic, Greek life, social, pretty much anything you can think of. There's a club on campus that you can join, and the list is always growing because we always have students that want to add more spaces to the campus, and the university is very open to it. In terms of sports, we are Division III for our sports. What that means is that we do play competitively. We just don't offer sports scholarships. That's just something to keep in mind. We have like soccer, volleyball, tennis, swimming, lacrosse, and a few others. And we do also have club sports. So if you want to play competitively, but maybe not at the division level, you can do so through our clubs. And that's another way for you to be active on campus. In terms of cultural celebrations, at UC Santa Cruz, we celebrate our diversity. And so you can celebrate your culture and expand yourself by learning about new cultures with our ethnic and identity resource centers. We have our African American Resource and Cultural Center, the American Indian Resource Center, the Asian American Pacific Islander Resource Center, our Chicano Latino Resource Center, and then we have our Leonel Cantu Queer Center and our Women's Center. So all these resource centers offer workshops, cultural events, meetings, study spaces, and support and community for students to thrive and be their best selves. Next slide. And then in terms of student support, we don't just want you to come in, we want you to stay and we want you to graduate. So as a student, you do have a variety of resources available to you on campus. We do offer academic advising. As a student, you do have access to 2 different academic advisors. You have your college advisor, which is based on the college that you're affiliated with. And then you have your major advisor, which is based on the major that you're pursuing. So already as a student, you have access to 2 different advisors who are there to support you, guide you in order to ensure that you graduate on time with the degree that you want. We also have EOP, which is the Educational Opportunity Program for first-generation low-income students. So if any of you are the first in your family to go to college, meaning your parents didn't go to college, you're considered a first gen. So our EOP office offers academic advising. They have peer mentors. They offer a variety of workshops to help students navigate the university. We also have our Career Center, which provides career and graduate advising services. And so they focus more on like life after graduation. So they help students, if you're looking for graduate programs, medical programs, if you're trying to see what jobs are available for you after you graduate, we do have an advisor for each academic division at our Career Center. We also have health and safety. So we do have a health center on campus. So if students are ever sick or under the weather, they can talk to a doctor on campus. We have CAPS, which is our counseling and psychological services, because, a lot of times students get homesick. And so that's a resource that you have on campus. And then we have our own police department and fire department, in addition to the Santa Cruz Police Department and Fire Department, which provides an additional layer of security on campus, although the campus is very safe. Next slide. And that's pretty much my quick overview of UC Santa Cruz. I didn't include a slide of applying to UC Santa Cruz, but we are a part of the same system as the other UCs, which means that we are all under the same application. And then in terms of selection, each campus will vary just a little bit. For UC Santa Cruz, we do have what we call a comprehensive review. What this means is that we look at a variety of factors when determining whether students get admitted or not. And something I tell students is that if there's something that you really want us to know, please make sure that you include it on your application, because if you don't include it, there's no way for us as readers to know. If you want to get more information on our campus, I do encourage you all to go on our admissions website. I will post some links in the chat after I finish speaking. We are also having a fall open house I think it's the first week of November. So I do encourage you all to come out and learn a little bit more about our campus and our different academic divisions that we have. Thank you again, and I'll pass it on to the next campus.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jacob Lee. I'm a Bruin ambassador here at UCLA, representing UCLA undergraduate admissions. I'm a junior, actually, and I work with UCLA undergraduate admissions, giving presentations and visiting high schools like you guys. And today I'm just going to give us a brief rundown about UCLA and what makes UCLA so special. Can I get the next? Thank you. So for those of you who haven't applied yet, UCLA offers more than 125 majors in 6 colleges and schools. And you don't have to choose one. You can choose 2 and have a double major. We have traditional subjects like English and political science. We also offer emerging majors like bioengineering, phys-econ, and psychobio. Now, freshmen in the College of Letters and Sciences, which is one of the colleges that 80% of our applicants do apply to, do not have to declare a major until the end of their second year. And transfer students don't have to declare a major until after they submit their application. Now, you can tailor your major by adding a minor, and our 90+ minors include minors like biomedical research, film, music industry, food studies, and entrepreneurship. Now, although we don't offer a great number of although we do offer a great number of majors, the class sizes are often small. Even though we do have 36,000 undergrad students, we do have an 18-to-1 student to faculty ratio, and 2 out of every 3 classes have less than 30 students. So even though the school may seem very big on the outside, when it comes down to your classes and discussions and things like that, it does feel a lot more intimate. Can I get the next slide? So we also offer classes called clusters and Fiat Lux seminars. Now there are about 200 small group seminars called Fiat Lux, which means let there be light, which is the UC motto. But one of our greatest teaching innovations are these things called clusters, and clusters are designed for both freshmen and transfers. And these are year-long multidisciplinary courses, and they're built around a common theme. So as a student, you become part of this small learning community, and these clusters are taught by some of the university's most distinguished faculty. So as it says here, these clusters are multidisciplinary, and it really makes your learning community a lot smaller and more intimate. Now, Fiat Fiat Luxes, on the other hand, are sort of like clusters in the fact that they are smaller seminars and will make your learning community a lot more inclusive. Next slide, please. Now, UCLA is one of the nation's biggest undergraduate research institutions, and we receive over $1 billion in research funding annually. And what's really cool is that a majority of our students do end up graduating with research experience. And this is not limited to STEM students or students studying math, science, physics, and things like that. Many of our social science students do end up getting research also. There's research in psychology and political science and communications and things like that. So the fact that we do get $1 billion in research funding annually means that there's so many different opportunities under so many different professors and research labs to get research under and get experience through. Next slide. So living on campus. Living on campus is actually a huge part of UCLA and what really distinguishes UCLA from a lot of other universities. So what's really nice is that all the residential life on UCLA is secluded from campus. So it's all in one spot, which we call at UCLA here, we call it the Hill. And the Hill has every single dorm hall and all the dining halls in this one area. So it's a nice area for you to meet other students, get to meet friends, places to study, places to eat. And one of my highlights about living on campus, which I did my freshman year of college, was all the dining options that available at UCLA. If you guys haven't heard, UCLA does have the #1 dining hall food in the entire country, which is really awesome. We have 4 all-you-can-eat dining halls and a handful of takeout spots, and each dining hall has a different theme. So there's an Asian themed dining hall, there's a Mediterranean/Italian themed dining hall, South American food and Tex-Mex. And then we have another dining hall called Brew and Plate, which focuses on locally grown organic foods. And everything is super, super delicious and super fresh. Next slide. So a huge part of the reason why UCLA is so special is because we are located in Los Angeles, nuzzled right in between Beverly Hills and Santa Monica. And being in Los Angeles, there's a ton of things to do. Not only are we close to the epicenter of the entertainment industry, we are just surrounded by a diversity of cultures and different people living in the area, which makes Westwood and Los Angeles so unique. On one hand, you have the beach 15 minutes away, and 20 minutes away in the other direction, you have startup tech firms, entertainment agencies, law firms, and everything you can imagine. Which makes UCLA such a great spot for finding different internships and opportunities and jobs out of college and in college. Next slide, please. So that kind of brings my little spiel about UCLA to an end. But if you guys do have any more questions, please feel free to visit our website at www.admission.ucla.edu. And you can also visit our other website, admission.ucla.edu. /visit/events for campus tours and other things like that to learn more about our campus. I will link my own email in the chat below, and so will my fellow Bruin ambassador. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much to all of the campuses who were timely, wonderful with their information and presentations this evening. We definitely want to make sure that we have time for questions, so please put those in the Q&A for any particular campus. Of course,